Hello everyone.
Afternoon.
I think we might just give everyone a couple of minutes to arrive. Although it's just after 2:30, it looks like there's still people signing in. So just bear with us a couple of minutes while we give everyone a couple of minutes.
Grab a coffee and get comfy.
Yeah. I don't think they've got time for a coffee. That's probably a bit.
All right, okay. Get someone to make them a coffee.
They could do that. Yeah.
Brad.
Oh, if only. Yes. And we always get to this point and think we should have prepared something.
Yeah. Have we prepared anything then?
No.
Oh.
I mean, we've prepared a presentation, but for this kind of preamble.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
We could have done a little duet of Christmas songs or something. No. I know they're your favourite.
What was I said last time? It was like a breakfast TV show,
yes.
wasn't it? Yes.
Good morning, Pragma.
This is good afternoon, Pragma. It's loose women.
Just while we're giving everyone the last couple of minutes, maybe if everybody
says you should do tap dance.
Do you think? Okay, we can read it.
Yeah.
You can't hear me tapping my feet. Yes. Yeah. Just hopefully everybody can hear us. Remember that there's the chat and the Q&A at the top of the bar. If anybody has got any questions or comments, nice comments only. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try and check into those throughout, and Rafa will obviously keep us on track and make sure we're spotting if there are any questions that are there. So do we think?
Yeah, I reckon we go. Yeah.
Cool. Welcome everyone to the last of our little video podcasts, whatever you call them, of the year of 2023. It's been an amazing year and we've had an awful lot to talk about this year. Last but not least, we've got some really good things to talk to you about today. Thank you very much for signing up to this particular webinar called Engage to Add Value and Win. Just moving on to, if I could even remember how to use Teams, it would really help. The agenda for today, which you will have seen when you signed up, we're going to be introducing you today to another new product, the final new product of 2023 that we're going to introduce, called Engage for iPECS Cloud. We're then going to take a little look at how to take customer challenges and turn them into sales to get you fired up for 2024 when you come back in January. We're going to have a little look at how to make it happen and the extras, which is a bit mysterious, I think.
So that's a prize for me.
Yeah,
wow.
Exactly.
We should have done a prize for Guess the Sci-Fi Movie on the screenshot, shouldn't we?
Yes, exactly.
It's a bit easy though.
It is. Not for Ed though, because he hates sci-fi.
Yeah.
There we go. Anyway, let's move on to our first thing, which is Engage. And I'm going at this point say, Andy, what?
Yeah. So Engage is part of our, I guess you could say, like our new stable of products. So I think everybody, well, I hope everybody on the webinar will have seen the launch of Connect a few weeks back, which has already taken off way more than we anticipated, which is brilliant. And so obviously Connect is all about the desktop. Engage is all about the website. And by that, I mean, it's about providing chat, call, video functionality. So I think something that everybody on the webinar will be familiar with if you're engaging with your bank or your insurance company, or you're even on Amazon or something like that, doing your retail shopping, your Christmas presents. Don't forget mine, by the way. But yeah, this is all about sort of completing that customer experience part of what we can offer by dropping this really simple widget, basically.
Should we zoom in?
We can see here.
Yeah.
Just dropping a really simple widget onto someone's website that kind of does what it says on the tin. It allows you to start a chat, but if you need to, we can move that to an audio call, or we can also do a video call as well. So yeah, it's a simple product, but I think in a way that's what kind of makes it powerful, because our customers, their customers, don't want anything that's kind of overly complicated when it comes to enhancing the way that they communicate. It's got to be easy to purchase from us, which it is. It's going to be a simple process. It's got to be easy to install, which it is. I reckon probably 5 to 10 minutes to go through the initial admin setup screen. Any kind of caveat really is, at the moment, this is a WordPress based plugin, so the website it's going on to has to be built in WordPress, but other than that,
well, I'd say a really large proportion, particularly smaller customers, their websites are all going to be built on WordPress, so that's a really good thing. So just to fill in some gaps here. So
You mean I left some gaps?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's okay. That's fine because it gives me a job to do because I can ask you some more
I was meant to
questions.
do that.
It's really good. Yeah. So it's a website widget. It works with WordPress and it puts this little kind of display on the screen. One thing that's probably worth mentioning is that because of the simple administration, it can be color coded to fit with the color scheme of the website that it's going on.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's really, really good. It's looking a bit boring there in grey, but we'll try and get some more coloured pictures for the launch. And also, when people hit those buttons, particularly the audio and video call, what's it going to interact with? What does the customer need to have to be able to answer those video calls and audio calls?
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, any home group on our platform you can direct the calls to an agent. We're actually just kind of finalising the licensing part of this. It's kind of one of the last things we're doing. We've got a couple of live installs that have gone out there, so we'll be able to make more of an announcement on that. But basically what sits underneath is on our platform is something called the Anonymous API, and we've got a chat and a call version of it. So we'll make everybody really clear as to what needs to be ordered when we go live, but you're going to essentially need those chat and call API licenses sitting in the background. Don't be concerned because they're free of charge licenses. It's just that we need to make sure that they're there. There's obviously
the link.
Yes, exactly. It's the bit that brings the engage, the glue. But yeah, you're right about the customization, but you'll find with Engage, as with Connect, we've got a really rapid roadmap in terms of development. So there's stuff coming along next week. There's going to be the ability going forwards to remove audio and video from the chat widget as well, because obviously not all customers are going to be that fussed about that capability. But this is all about making Engage flexible to fit to the customer's needs. So it's not like we're going, this is what you got, that's what you got to stick with. There will be ability going forward to do things like remove audio, remove chat as well.
Okay, so essentially what we're offering here is for a customer who doesn't have any of this capability on their website at the moment, we're giving them a new tool that will give them a new way of communicating with their customers from their website. But ultimately, iPEX Cloud sits at the center. They need to have iPEX Cloud because when somebody hits that call or video call, it's going to interact with somebody that's got either a physical IP handset or iPEX One. Correct. And that can be an individual extension user, a home group or an agent.
Yes.
Okay. So I think there's a massive opportunity there to have conversations with customers that are really, really different to just selling them a telephone system. Totally. And I think this is a massive step forward. We've already got a question in from Nikki asking if we're going to be able to offer one free to promote it. So I don't think we've got an answer to that right now, no. But having said that, we obviously are very, very keen for all of our partners to be able to benefit from all of the products that we're promoting, to be able to do that. And it's certainly something that's on our radar, Nikki. So another option here at the moment as well is, and Andy has mentioned, we've got a couple of proof of concept sites that are live. I'm sure we might be able to squeeze a couple more in if anyone is keen to maybe trial this. If you're using iPEX Cloud in-house and have a WordPress website that you might like to engage with, please make contact with Andy or your account manager afterwards, and we will see if we can expand the proof of concept just to help us get this really fully tested out there for a launch which is due.
At the moment, we're looking like early Jan.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I would correct you ever so slightly, not that I normally would do that.
Oh, cool.
I prefer to see this as controlled introduction because the product itself is proven and tested. This is just about getting it out into live environments so that we can be really comfortable. And as I said, we've already discovered a couple of little bits around the licensing, which we just need to iron out. But it's essentially a working product. It's ready to go. So yeah, I think we're pretty safe, I would say, to middle of January. At this point in time, unless anything disastrous happens. Of course, that's my caveat. It won't.
No, that's good. So just to keep you aware of where we're at with everything, there is a page almost live on our website. Almost live. How can you have a page that's almost live? But it really is. To cover Engage, which will be on our website very, very shortly. There is a brochure just about completed and ready to go, just waiting for some final pictures to go in and make that look a bit prettier. There's a demonstration video that has been recorded, which we will also put on our YouTube channel. We'll put on the hub and make live very, very shortly. We'll hopefully have that up before Christmas so that if you've got customers you want to start warming up with this product, we'll be able to do that that.
Yeah.
And obviously your account managers are fully trained and aware of the product and will be very, very happy. And they'll be coming around to see you in January to make sure that your teams are fully fully trained and aware of everything to do with
Absolutely.
it. I think that kind of covers
Yes, 100%.
everything, which is cool. Perfect. So moving swiftly on, I think that kind of opens up to maybe the broader subject of the kind of problems that our customers are facing every day. And I think when you think of customers, you know, they're all very, very keen on making sure their businesses are really efficient, that they're utilising their time effectively, and that they're really, really focused on making sure that they're covering as much as they can, whether they're selling to customers, whether they're offering customer service. They've all got targets and KPIs and sales targets that they need to achieve in the same way that we do. And I think that, you know, this kind of really brings it back to the fact that if we as communication specialists really take the time to understand those challenges and present ourselves to the customer that answer those, give them an answer to those problems that they're facing every day, we can have some really different conversations with our customers than most of our competitors are having today, I think. And I think really, you know, with the way that the product portfolio has been building this year, it's never a better time to really engage in this kind of style of selling in the way that we can address that. And so I'm really hogging the limelight here, aren't I?
Well, with that jumper, it's difficult not to. Right?
One of us had to be effective.
I am. No,
oh yeah, no. And I think that leads on to this because, you know, customer experience is one of the hottest topics in the business world at the moment. And I think it's also one of the areas where technology can play a real part in helping a customer, a company to be more efficient and utilise their time more effectively. And I think we've got some statistics, haven't we? Do you want to?
Yeah, and I think one of the things I was going to add to this is, you know, there's a lot of people out there that will, you know, the industry experts telling you what's going on in the marketplace. But I think what we're finding through experience is this whole approach of it's very easy, and it's not criticism because we see it a lot. It's very easy to just kind of almost want to sit down with a customer and go through your catalogue, you know. But where we're finding more and more success, which has been proven through our contact product, should I say, is the more time spent understanding that customer in terms of what do you do, what are your issues, how many people you got, all that stuff that people would normally talk about. It's resulted in some really good opportunities for us, particularly with the contact center product. But that just flows, I think, you know, down and across and through everything that you do with customer engagement. And I think, you know, some of the stats that you're going to click through on here, I very much fall into that first one. I have limited patience as a consumer these days. You know, I've just literally spent an hour on the phone today with my broadband provider because, again but the point here is we all accept that things technically can go wrong.
Yeah.
The proof of the pudding, though, is in the service that follows that up, and it's relevant to this conversation purely because it's the how do you communicate with those people. And then you find out to your cost it's really difficult to speak to the people you need to. There's no chat facility on the website, and it just results in being really, really frustrated. And I am very much one of the 50% of customers that, you know, I will look to switch quite quickly because I don't have the patience when I'm paying for a service, as many people don't, to kind of go, oh, you know, wait a week, you know. So yeah, definitely, I would absolutely agree with that. Yeah, and I think this kind of bears out the experience that we're finding with the contact center product. You know, that the more effort that's put into that kind of initial engagement with the customer, understanding what it is they do, where are the pain points, etc., etc. How do you communicate with your customers, and also how would you like to communicate with your customers? Because I think we've already had a message on here about API integration to Facebook, Instagram. Absolutely spot on. I think, you know, and to answer that question, we've obviously got the contact product today, which has, you know, incremental licenses that can be added to it for that environment. And strangely enough, on that, the most complex contact customer that we've already won it, they've only got like 7 agents. So historically, I guess in a way, a lot of people would have gone, oh yeah, that's not a contact center opportunity. But then through the conversation, it's like, well, we interact with our customers through Facebook. We interact with them through Instagram. We also want to interact with them through WhatsApp. It becomes an opportunity for us. So I think Steve, just on that point, today we have that facility with the Contact product, but with the guys who have built both the Connect and the Engage product, they've got some absolutely awesome guys working for them. And, you know, the sort of guiding principle here is if it's got an API, we can probably work with it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say yes,
Yeah,
for sure, but I'd just say keep an eye on the development around the Connect product, because we are going to see more and more stuff happening on that.
but I think it's perfectly okay to think about the fact that we've got different products for different kind of application, and you know, we can't expect everything to be free or cheap or lower cost. That there is going to come a point where the customer recognizes there's a value in some of what they require, and you know, we've got these steps and stages that take us from the really simple being able to add things like Engage, which I think is a great new little product, right the way up to the full Contact solution. And we're going to circle back to that, I think, at the end as well, aren't we? Good. So cool.
And I think, you know, the last two, if you want to click onto the last one as well, these all kind of build into what we're talking about here, which is the customers that we talk to through our partners that they're engaging with. More often than not, sort of the key thing here is about customer engagement, you know, from us to our partners for a start, from them to their customers, and then, you know, finally out to the people that are doing business with these customers. It's how easy are you to deal with, you know, what facilities do you know, like we're just talking about Instagram, you know, and I think you were saying, wasn't you, yesterday when we spoke about, you know, if you look at yourself as a consumer, and we're all kind of, you know, in the same boat here to a degree, but there's certain scenarios when for you chat works.
Yep.
There's certain scenarios for you when a call works.
Yes.
And there'll be people out there, I've kind of not had much experience of it, but there'll equally be people out there for whom a video interaction, it could be tech support or something like that, where it's easier to show than it is to talk. And I think that's kind of what's driving, hopefully people will see this as we go through. That's really kind of what's driving and shaping our portfolio as we go forward. Of course, voice is absolutely still fundamental, and the software and everything that sits under that, but we're trying to understand the world of the customer experience and provide the means to deliver a solution for those customers. So yeah.
I've moved on because you started taking my next slide. So, you know, it's fine.
I'll just go over here for a minute.
Because it shows we're on the same page. So come back. Yeah, and I think that comes back to this. That was exactly our thought process when we were thinking of this, is that, you know, it's great. We sell communication systems. Historically, we've sold telephone systems, was the thing that the background that we've all come from. And gradually over time, things are changing. UC has become a bigger part of our portfolio. And now as we're seeing Connect become available, Engage become available, and the full-blown capabilities that we have within Contact as well, it's really trying to have a customer think about, what kind of choices do your customers want to have when they want to communicate with you? And I was also using another example that this morning about, you know, older people, you know, my mother-in-law, well, she's my mother-in-law, not married, who don't have the internet, they don't have a smartphone. More increasingly, they're being forced down a route of when they're dealing with their services providers like gas and electric and that kind of thing, to say, you've got to do everything online, you've got to do everything remotely, booking an appointment with a doctor, which obviously as you get older is...
Well, it's impossible for any of us.
Fair enough. But all that kind of thing, it's always trying to remember that actually phone calls still have a real place. And, you know, certainly from my perspective, if I want to have a detailed conversation with somebody, I'd still prefer to do it by phone, to have that natural communication, that ability to hear the intonation of my voice, and for me to understand and hear how frustrated you are when you're hearing my conversation, which often happens.
Well, my broadband is plugged to understand.
So having this choice of being able to, you know, do you want people to phone you? Do you want to have a video call? Do you want to email? Do you want a web chat? What are the different options to be able to do that? And customers, businesses increasingly are obviously trying to build all of that into their strategies to make sure that they're providing those options for customers. If they're not doing that as a strategy, they kind of need to, because their competitors will be. And even having that ability to start those conversations and say, have you actually thought about whether or not your customers might benefit from being able to click a button on your website and have a chat with you? That is a really different conversation to have to how many phones have you got on desk.
And the flexibility I go back to as well here is, if you think about what we were talking about with Engage, having all those tools is one thing, but having the flexibility, and by that I mean, how many times have you been on a website where you've been engaged in a chat, but you know it's a bot and you can't get past the bot, and you keep talking? And all I'll do now is talk to agent until eventually it kind of, but with our Engage products, once you've answered the initial bot question, you do have the ability to click straight on to basically talk to a human being. So I think it's important to keep an eye on that as well, because it's one thing to have the tools, but we've got to be careful not to force people down a route that they're not necessarily absolutely.
So if we take sort of every customer as having these everyday challenges and that customer experience is key, I guess the next step is really to look at how do we take the solutions that we've got, how do we take the products we've got and turn them into solutions to address the problems that they've got, and that's hopefully what we can demonstrate in this next part. So just circling back to obviously the first part of this presentation, which was introducing Engage to everybody. We started to look at Engage, and we've hopefully demonstrated a little bit about some of the things. One of the things that I think we've forgotten to mention is obviously through the AI capability built within Engage, it is going to be able to answer some simple questions from the website, like what's your address?
What do you do? What's your address?
What are your opening hours over Christmas? Hopefully people will have got cottoned on by now that they should be updating that onto their website.
It's a key point you make though, because I think another point to bear in mind with Engage is the fact that it is embedded obviously within your website, but the sort of AI part of that is essentially scraping your entire website for all of that information. So the point those questions are asked, it's what they refer to dehumanizing the response. So it kind of feels like you're talking to a human being, but that's because the AI part of it is looking at your website and pulling down all of the potential information.
Brilliant. And if you think about that from a time saving perspective, if you were able to identify that 20 customers, 20 calls a day are people phoning up asking what your opening hours or what your address is, and all of that being done now by Engage through web chat and through using AI, all of that time is being freed up for the person that's currently answering those questions to be able to do something else, speak to a customer that needs to be spoken to, or do something else, which is all about this whole kind of customer experience.
And hopefully it kind of comes through as we go through these slides. But I would say the other thing we're kind of almost trying to do here is almost switch up the conversation. So yes, we've got products with fancy names, but kind of helping that kind of whole process around, kind of almost park those names for a minute. Let's think about the functionality, but more importantly, the beginning part of that is what are the issues here? What are the, how does the customer work? Because unless you understand that, you then can't go, well, we've got this functionality, and you then can't go, and that functionality equals Engage or whatever the other products
100%. So in the back of your mind, you're thinking Engaged. You don't need to say that to the customer. It's okay. So have you got this problem? And clearly one of the things that everyone should now be doing before they go to a customer meeting is look at the website and have they got web chat. And because you may know that before you go to the meeting, which is a good step. Cool. Okay. So actually, if I just think about that kind of customer and build out on that. So we've already identified they've got customers calling them, whether it's for support, whether it's for inquiring about a product they might want to buy. They've engaged with this customer. It could be an existing customer. So it's quite likely that customer is going to have other applications like a CRM. How do we address, or what kind of conversation could we have there?
Well, I mean, historically, and probably a lot of people on this call will be thinking, where's IPEX One gone? It's gone nowhere.
Absolutely.
That's still an option, but I would say that's very much the telephony based approach, and we've got CRM as an option on that. But I think if you look at Connect and where its strengths come in, I would use me as an example again. So if you look at my average working day at Pragma,
it's all about you.
Of course. But if you look at my average working day here, I'm spending a lot of time, obviously, in Outlook doing emails, but I'm also spending a lot of time in other tools. So, for example, our marketing agency we work with, they use ClickUp. We use Asana as our project management tool here. So what
about our CRM?
Well, exactly, HubSpot, which is just fresh off the bat, literally yesterday. So my average kind of working day, you think of all those tools. Connect, I'm going to one browser tab for one, I'm going to another browser tab for another. And what Connect allows you to do, and this is kind of where the sort of, if you're thinking about benefits, time savings, I now have at my fingertips on my desktop within Chrome, within one page, I've got access to view my upcoming Asana projects, ClickUp projects, all my upcoming meetings, and I can search HubSpot for a partner's details if I need to. I'm not having to go to loads of different places. So that's kind of, yes, there's obvious similarities between Connect and IPEX One because they're essentially based on the same mechanics underneath them, under the hood, I think, as our brethren across the water like to say. But you know, the real differentiator here and where Connect comes into its own is the ability to pull all of those together.
Yeah.
And as I said earlier on, because of the speed with which we're able to develop that, because it's something that we do locally, you'll see more and more stuff coming through for that really quickly.
Yeah.
You know, there's Zapier is another one we're looking at doing shortly, and I know there's a whole bunch of other integrations kind of in the pipeline at the moment. But also for us, there's a lot of scope with Connect to be able to bring into that product potentially things like our own analytics product, you know, being able to log in through a tab within that rather than going out to another tab. We've got our PCI product, which relies on a browser screen to be able to take the payment. So through the world of API, it's suddenly unlocking a load of opportunities for us. And that's kind of where Connect is the sort of flagship for that almost, because that's going to drive that piece forward.
And Zapier is really important, isn't it? Because it's kind of a middleware in its own right. It's
exactly.
It kind of allows you to, rather than having to develop an integration for lots and lots and lots of different products, Zapier has already got it. So as long as we can plug into that, it gives us the ability.
And I think it's fair to say that the expertise then is not so much from our point of view or our developer. Once the Zapier thing's done, it would then be between our business partner and their customer.
Yeah.
You know, is the skill set. Absolutely, the benefit there is acting as
ready-made kind of integrations, which is great. So a couple of things just before we move on here. One is we're going to add on to the hub in the Connect section a list of current authorized integrations so that it's a bit clearer and we can manage that regularly. But we're also going to start putting a roadmap on there because I feel that, you know, when we've already approved and we know that CoSoft are working on an integration, that our partners should know that those are coming down the line. It would save you having to raise requests for those as well, which is great. But also remember that you can request bespoke integrations that are written for customers. If you go to a customer and identify they've got a really specific business application that they would benefit from having integrated into Connect, then you can raise that request, which we can manage on your behalf. All good. So no more questions at the moment.
My eyesight's definitely going because it still looks like it says lap dancing at the top there rather than tapping.
Yeah, thank God that nobody did actually say lap dancing because I might have been tempted to do that. So I guess also now we're on this theme of how we can look at a customer's problem and look at what we can do to address them. We're on a bit of a theme with the customers, and we've identified that their customers are calling them for customer service or to buy things, and we're trying to improve that whole customer experience. We had a whole raft of things in Cloud 6. What were the kind of underlying cloud features, just as a reminder, and how we can fit them into this theme?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, talking about the sort of customer engagement side of it, there's obviously the improvements to ACD, whether that was in analytics, but particularly the queuing. So but particularly the callback from queue. So it's something we've been on, I mean, probably at least the last 3 or 4 years, it's a constant thing that comes up. When are we going to be able to do callback from queue? So that was delivered in Cloud 6.
So really that's the ability. Customer calls in. They've told that they're 10 in the queue. They're then given an option to say, hold your position in the queue, and somebody will call you back when your call gets to the front. So instead of them having to sit there for an hour.
Listening to music.
I was going to tell the story of the length of time I once queued for Take That tickets, but I won't bore everyone with it. It was a long time.
It's more worrying that you queued for Take That tickets, to be fair.
And it was back, you know, just before they
You're going to say back when they were good.
Anyway, another story. Okay, so I think the key thing here is that the options are there. The programming is really flexible as well. It's kind of really difficult to put in a box, isn't it? Exactly how it works. So I think it's have those conversations, keep a really open mind about what the customer might need to improve that customer experience through that queuing, ACD capability, and the breakout from queue. And if you're ever not sure, speak to your account manager and they can help you with the detail. Your engineers are all trained hopefully on that as well, to be able to install it. Happy days. Cool. We're on a roll. Here's the one that you just tried to talk about before we got to it. So
I was alluding to it.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I don't want to think we did some preparation for this.
Never.
So we've got all of this happening. So what does that give us in analytics, both just historically and also in Cloud 6? What came along with Cloud 6 that was
Yeah,
newsworthy?
so I think, again, analytics is a product I would imagine everybody on here doesn't need introducing to, because it's been around for a while. In fact, we've just hit just over 14,000 endpoints, which is a big
Wow.
thing for us, because when you consider the time it's been around, that's gone rapidly. So yeah, I mean, obviously historical reporting, real-time reporting is exactly what we want in this kind of product. But in Cloud 6, we just added some more around the supervisory functionality. So being able to actually call out, set up calls, the whisper coaching going into it as well. So if you've got an agent on a call with a difficult customer, probably me, right? They can request the whisper coaching, or the supervisor to listen in for some assistance.
Cool. So lots and lots going on there. And I would just also say that we had a few requests when Cloud 6 came along as to whether or not we could create some collateral to help position this kind of thing with customers. And obviously it's a lot more detailed, and there's a lot more usable features within this, and we have that in draft at the moment. We're hopefully going to get that out, if not before Christmas, it will be very early in January, which will give you some documentation to share with a customer, use to help generate new opportunities or to upgrade existing customers that might already have iPECS Cloud.
Yeah, and I mean, with analytics, it's one of those products, isn't it, that you can sort of stand here and glibly say, oh, everybody should be using it, but it's just got such a wide range of customers that potentially would want to use it. We even talk about like informal compliance, where you've got the sales manager wanting to understand what's happened in terms of inbound, outbound calls, what's his sales team been up to, and that then kind of bleeds into this, other products which we're not talking about today, like the mobile side of things anywhere. Putting those out there, running it through analytics as well. So yeah, powerful product. Talking of powerful products.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this was a really important one to touch on as we were thinking of this theme of customer experience, customer service, because we've tried to link the business challenges with the different kinds of customer experience that people might have. And I think this is maybe one that goes a little bit under the radar.
Yeah.
All of the businesses that we're talking about that might be taking payments over the phone, whether they're selling services or products to customers that are contacting them. And I think a lot of people have got away with not paying a great deal of attention to their commitments and requirements around PCI DSS. So PCI was introduced a good few months back, and I think it was a really good opportunity to wrap it into here. We're at one of the busiest periods of the year where people will be buying online and exposing themselves potentially to all kinds of fraud. So I thought it was a good opportunity for you to give us a bit of a recap.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you say, PCI is, I don't know, sometimes it can feel like this murky, dark world that nobody really understands, and it is complicated, right? And we should be clear that when we talk about PCI, we're talking about the communications element of it. So buying this product in and of itself doesn't make you globally PCI compliant, but when we're talking about the communications part of that business, taking calls over the phone, this is the crucial part of that. And there are other tools out there. But the reason we've got this particular tool is the simplicity. So go back to what we were talking about earlier on, making it simple. So there's a number of different merchants that we integrate to, the likes of WorldPay, HBOS, Barclays, all of the key big names out there have got an integration to this product.
Yeah.
And because the guys that we're working with are a tier 1 accredited PCI business, and this is part of what you were saying about the documentation that we're going to have flowing through early in the new year.
Yeah,
we're working with our supplier at the moment to do some more stuff around this, and in terms of being able to flow down the certification, so they don't automatically become certified, but part of having this product in place also means the hoops and the stuff that they have to jump through are drastically reduced down because they have a tier 1 authorized PCI compliance service in place. So there's still some stuff they would have to do, but we're helping to remove a big amount of that work. And the point here is, we've talked about this loads. It doesn't matter whether you're a single branch pizza takeaway place taking payments over the phone through to the biggest international insurance company. if you're handling customer card details over the phone, the fact is you've got to be compliant, and for sure there will continue to be people who are willing to take the risk. All we can say is that, look at the analysis that we've done and the information available online. It's being cracked down on more and more and more, so people continue to run that risk. But I think also an interesting thing about this is it's you think about your brand as a business. One of the other ways to sort of think about selling this is a lot of people will kind of use a product like this once it's in place and sort of promote it from the point of view of, we care about your security.
Yes.
And it's why we have this in place. And I didn't realize until recently, a lot of these merchant services, payment service providers, they actually throw a non-compliance fee into the monthly fees that these guys are paying. A lot of them don't even know. And so we had an example come up yesterday where the engagement with the customer, they discovered this, and by the time they worked out, it was something ridiculous, like an extra £5 to £10 per month per user in this contact center. By the time you've added all that up and looked at the cost across a year, then you present our service in front of that, which gives you the peace of mind.
Yeah.
Plus the fact, you can continue doing your call recording because we're not recording anything. So it's all part of that. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a very complex world. But I think, as the folks on this call will see, as we move into sort of January, we're going to be bringing through quite a bit more stuff for them to help kind of demystify, frequently asked questions.
Yes.
When you're talking to a customer, first thing to be talking about is, who do you work with from a payment services provider? What kind of account have you got? So we've been bringing a lot more of that stuff through.
Yeah.
But I think for me, it's another one of those products. It's got a wide range of customers that you could be talking to about it, but it's our job to kind of help the folks on this call feel comfortable about having those conversations.
Yeah, so it's about kind of recognizing, is it an issue, and also maybe understanding a little bit about the background of customers of a certain size do a self-assessment. They say that I'm compliant, they're kind of signing up to it. The risk for them is, if they get caught out, if something happens and fraud activity takes place and they haven't taken all of the right steps, they are going to be responsible for it. And
whilst this
happens,
it's worth bearing in mind, whilst a product like this is not, there's nothing criminal related to not being compliant. It's legal, and there's huge fines and removal of merchant services, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But if that then leads to a data breach, then it does move into that world of becoming kind of a criminal offence. So it's it's a serious thing, and actually the fact we've got this is another huge tick in the box for us and our partners. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think this circles right the way back to the question that we were asked by Steve earlier, in that, we've talked a little bit about some of these individual components that we've introduced and how they're addressing a business need, a challenge that our customers are going to be facing. But if a customer does have a requirement for all of that, or if they need things that we can't currently provide natively within iPETS Cloud, like WhatsApp, like Facebook, Instagram, all of those different things, and the ability to have an agent, a person that's going to be responsible for communicating and being able to apply licenses to me to say, are you just taking voice calls? Are you taking web chat? You might be on the email duties, and we can switch our requirements throughout the day and throughout the week to make sure that you're getting the best coverage from the entire company. And that's where Contact comes in. Yeah, and again, I think this kind of follows the same theme about us trying to sort of break down the barriers, demystify this thing, because I know your background from sort of Mitel days, my background's Avaya, and back sort of even 5 years ago, only 5 to 10 years ago, you sort of mentioned the word contact center or call center, and then people are running the other way because it's really scary and complex. But it can still be complicated. But I think the point we're trying to make here is that think of it more just as a set of tools. Don't kind of get in this mindset of contact center. It's not the product we're selling.
Exactly. It's how are you actually interacting with your customers, and these guys, although we've not had any sort of opportunities for it at the moment. These guys go to the extreme on the AI side of it as well. I've seen them demo stuff to me where you've got maybe an English speaking agent, but they're having a chat conversation with someone from Germany, for example, and the AI bot is instantaneously translating that accurately from one language to the other. So that's kind of like the extreme of where we go. But again, one of the key principles to us when we brought this product into the portfolio is we looked around, as 6 or 7 different suppliers.
Our beauty parade.
Yeah, but I mean, I think one of the common themes that went through that was kind of the complexity that's driven by some of the cost on that. You know, what we loved about these guys is they could tick all the kind of technology boxes with us, but you don't have to start with a full fat license, like you say. You know, if you've got a fit, and I think the interesting thing for this is if you look at our first two deployments, you've got one that you would probably call a classic contact center with like well over 100 agents, but they've gone really quite basic, you know, voice.
Yeah.
But then we've got this tiny one, which you might not have regularly thought of as a contact center. They've got, I think it's 7 agents, but they've gone for like voice, chat, email, WhatsApp, you know, they've gone for all that because of the way they interact with their customers. They're sort of forward thinking, if you want, in that respect. They're sort of tapping into all of the social media channels and thinking, how do we, you know, how can we widen our, cast our net wider, I guess, in a way, you know, and, you know, I don't spend an awful lot of time on social media, but it's surprising how many businesses you now see advertising through something like Instagram, where you've got that shop now button, and then, you know, from that you could potentially be having a chat interaction, and they're doing everything digitally. So it is important. But like you say, I think it provides, if you think about this as a jigsaw puzzle, as we've kind of been looking at here, and we'll get there, I know, but it's kind of like just thinking about the tools in your kit, in the tool bag, and like I say, almost parking the names, because we've all got names for our products, but it's like, what is this customer doing? It's all about customer interaction, functionality, where are the pain points, having all of that stuff in the back of your mind, and then being able to kind of build that picture and go, right, this is what your solution looks like.
And I think the other thing, just to finish off on this, is that we recognise that the full functionality within Contact is a little bit more unusual. But in January, we're going to be, actually February, so end of January, February, we're going to be running a series of webinars with Dactella. And we're going to be kind of unpacking it a little bit and starting with this whole kind of simple, what are the kind of conversations you'd have with a customer, really expanding on what we've done today and focusing it more on that full array of everything that you might need to interact with a customer and how you can improve the service that's being provided. So look out for that. We'll get that registration out hopefully before Christmas so that you can get signed up to those webinars as well, which would be really, really good. So that brings us on to this whole kind of delivery and how do we make some of this happen? How do we make the most of the opportunity that we've got? And I wanted to just reiterate on some of the work that we've done in the marketing team over the last few months. We've now got 4 different toolkits that are available on the hub to help you to create opportunity, whether that's creating opportunity to sell more to existing customers with iPEX Cloud, or whether it's to target and gain new customers for iPEX Cloud. So you'll see the 4 toolkits that are available here on the hub. And if you would like an introduction to these, by all means, book a meeting with myself or Raf or your account managers who are all fully trained on the capabilities here. But just to reiterate what's available in a toolkit, what makes up a toolkit? Well, it's a whole range of things, whether it starts with an HTML mailer that could highlight the benefits of a solution that we can offer a customer, telling them what their problem might be and helping them to understand how we can help them with that problem. It's a list of, it's all the training information. What does the product do? What are the frequently asked questions? There's a sales guide, a 5-minute sales guide. So if you're following up on some leads that might have been generated, or that you're following up on some people who may have been sent the HTML, there's a list of, you know, what are the key things that this person might need to know about this product that you can keep as a kind of a quick access tool that are available. And I'd say the best way to approach this would be to decide that you're going to run a campaign, engage with your Pragma account manager who can come along and do the training, make sure you've got the data to send out the information to. There's a social media pack as well, so that while the campaign's running, you can schedule all the social media content to hopefully recognise both across socials and what they might have been sent in their inbox. And the 4 campaigns that we've got available are analytics. So again, great one to be able to sell to or utilize with your existing iPEX Cloud customers. If they've only got a cloud license, maybe iPEX 1 and not much else, then analytics is a fantastic tool to give them to really focus on what we've been talking about today. You know, how do they understand how well they're performing and the way that they're giving customer service to their customers without a tool that analyzes is that capability. So really, really tangible product. And all of these, of course, have a really positive impact on your revenue generation, whether it's your upfront revenue, handsets, or things that you might be selling, but certainly with your monthly recurring revenue, which I'm sure all your businesses are very keen to grow. We've then got one for anywhere. So obviously not one we've touched on today, but certainly if we started to look at how bringing a mobile device into the customer experience conversations we've been having, and the fact that sometimes it might be that, you know, a small business doesn't have somebody sat at a desk or behind a phone, but they might be out on the road, and all of this capability is certainly available to them, whether they're using a mobile device with Anywhere. And then we have the two IPEX Cloud toolkits. One of them is focused on the ISDN switch off, and obviously the time is now getting very short before the ISDN switch off happens, and there's still a huge number of customers out there that have taken no action and actually may not even be aware of the impact that might be having on them in 2025.
Yeah.
And then the IPEX Cloud being the future, so really targeting a customer who might have already dipped their toe in the water. They might have had an experience of another cloud product, and realizing that actually maybe those products aren't having the investment in R&D. They don't have new products, new functionality. They're now falling short because they don't have that capability to provide the website widget or, you know, connect, integrate with other business applications. And this is where the future is IPEX Cloud can be a really good time to start targeting those customers that you know the products out there on the market that aren't being invested in the same way that Ericsson LG are investing in IPEX Cloud, and this is a really good opportunity to do that. So I didn't want to dwell on it too much, but I just wanted to kind of remind everybody that was there. This is the icing on the cake. I mean, clearly you can see why we're in marketing.
Is that one of your cakes?
I don't bake.
No,
I eat them.
Yeah.
So I think this really, for me, what I kind of wanted to do this was that, you know, you're our customers, and in the same way we're talking about customer experience, it's very much a focus for us. And some of what we do is always about thinking about our interaction with you and how do we make your lives easier. And I'm going to shut up and hand over to Andy.
Good. Good.
You're right.
Yeah, so I think, you know, we aren't and have never been a broadline distributor. That's not our MO, but equally we recognise that there are products that we could look at. And my kind of spin on this is always that we never say no to another third-party product, but our core tenet is that it's got to have some value to the core cloud platform we do. We don't just bring a product in because we want to sell it on its own, and that underlines everything we've got on the screen here, right? So Yealink is a really important vendor for us. I mean, just to drop into the little nugget in here that we've got third-party SIP phone BLF coming to the platform sometime early next year. And hopefully it's going to be January. Right, depends on our testing schedule, but we want to have, I mean, there's a load of different vendors out there, right? But particularly Yealink, we know there's a lot of Yealink devices out there. This opens up the door for us in terms of if our customers on this call have got installed bases with other cloud providers, and that customer happens to have Yealink devices, by having that functionality on our platform enables us to be able to bring them across. But furthermore than that, it allows us to be able to potentially look at other products that we can sell. So currently we have a lot of the SIP DECT products from Yealink, and I'm always really careful on this because no, it's not replacing our IP DECT offering. It's there because it offers a different type of wireless device that we can't necessarily cover, and it's generally in those smaller deployments where it might be a bit more cost constrained, and the customer doesn't demand all of the really deep integrated features that you would have from IP DECT.
So it's sort of a it's an application where they can travel as far away from the base station, like you were at home, really, using a DECT phone at home, whereas our full IP DECT gives you that capability to put base stations around a business, get full coverage, have handover between the base stations, and even add on things like security.
Absolutely, and they play really, really well in the portfolio. You know, since we've brought Yealink DECT in, for example, it hasn't impacted anything we've been doing on IP DECT. It's all incremental on top of that, which is fantastic. But also, which the partners on this call will have hopefully have all seen recently, is the addition of the Yealink headsets as well. We've been asked for a long time for a more premium headset in the range. Not only have we delivered a premium headset, which I think I can fairly safely say a good 80% of us here are using them and absolutely love them, we've also managed to deliver it at a price which is just ridiculous in terms of the cost effectiveness of it. So we'll see more stuff like that coming through into the new year. Yealink and ELG, just to be clear on this, are working very closely. So there's nothing here about, they're suddenly starting to do this.
Okay.
They're working very closely to the point that Yealink are working with ELG in Korea. We've been told today we're going to have IPEX1 integration for the Yealink BH76,
Wow.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
We have
It works today, but it's not approved.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
having that rubber stamp is really, really important for us, because
Yeah.
it kind of it's very powerful when you're selling two different vendor products together. And equally, we've just sent some of our 1,000 iPhones out to China, and Yealink are working directly to also integrate their BH76 headset Bluetooth capability into the 1040, 1050, and 1080. Again,
Amazing.
they already work.
Yeah.
But what they're looking at doing is getting that slightly deeper level of integration, where, answer and receive, answer and end a call on the headset, for example, it doesn't always work.
No.
So they'll, do some of
So
that.
having proper firmware that is supported, so you've got that end-to-end kind of peace of mind again.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're doing with Yealink. Draytech's really, really simple. It's all about broadband routers. We've got 4 models in the portfolio. The reason we've only got 4 is because we went out to our partners and said, if we were to sell Draytech, what would you buy from us? So they've been available since the beginning of October, and I'm actually quite surprised that the volume has ramped up really quickly. So I think that was a really wise decision.
Yeah.
Another big brand who are very, very keen to do some more stuff with us is TP-Link. Okay, so we already sell the TP-Link Wi-Fi dongle for the 1040, 1050. We've actually got some of their Bluetooth dongles coming in to do some official testing for the same phones. So being able to connect other headsets to those devices.
Great.
And we have the TP-Link PoE switches in the portfolio as well. So they're available. And again, it's not just because we wanted to sell a PoE switch. We recognise when a lot of the net new cloud installs going in, there'll be some work done to upgrade and do some bits around the network. And, we were asked, can we stock or can we sell PoE switches? That's what we put in the portfolio. Netgear is there. It's kind of more as a fallback option, but it's definitely not as popular in terms of what we've got in the portfolio. So skipping on to the final one, which is quite a new, well, actually, it's a new addition. We've had Grandstream in the portfolio for quite a while, but it's the ATA, and it came in because it replaced the Cisco ATA a while back. But as of, I think it was the beginning of last week, maybe, we've now got the WP820 Wi-Fi handset from Grandstream in the portfolio, because people were just banging down our door going, we need a Wi-Fi handset.
Yeah.
It seemed to be the most popular one that we were being asked for.
It was already approved as well. So
it was approved. Yeah, thanks to the partners, and the sales on that have gone like ridiculously quickly as well. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at on third party. But as I say, the caveat here is it's always about looking at third party products that can add value to the core.
And it's recognising that as partners, if they're already providing these other things, they would be having to configure cloud, order a load of stuff from us, order licenses, then go to another supplier to order the PoE switches or the routers or the cordless. And actually having it all in one place makes hopefully our partners' lives that bit easier to order it through the cloud portal. Or through
web sales. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So if any of you here have not yet seen our pricing for the third-party devices, they're all in the price list. Those of you that have access to the price list, we've got a little page that our account managers have been sharing. So make contact, ask any questions if you need any of that, because as Andy's already alluded to, some of our pricing is very, very competitive.
And don't forget the promotion that we've got running on the Yealink headsets until the end of December, or the last
shipping day, 21st of December. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a option. Will there be a single Yealink option for with integration?
So definitely won't say no. But at the moment, we're just focusing on getting the BH76, which is the twin-ear Bluetooth premium headset.
Yeah.
We are, however, actively looking at whatever else is in that portfolio. And I know that as part of Yealink's testing with our phones in China, they are going to do some other testing just so that they're comfortable with it. So
And Malcolm, just in case you've not had any experience of the BH76, it's a great headset. It's got really good noise cancelling, but it's also got an option for ambient sound, or you can turn it off. I tend to use mine without any noise cancelling on it because I actually like to hear what's going on around me. So you might find that would suit somebody that might just want a single ear rather than worrying about another product in the portfolio. Try that and get have a look at it.
But
see how it works.
But I think the answer there, Malcolm, is definitely not a no. But we're just focusing on getting the BH76 over the line. In fact, I'm actually starting to do some field trialing with the BH70, which is, I believe it's a single ear headset. They're sending one over to us.
You nearly lied.
Sorry?
You nearly lied.
Well,
you said we're not doing it. Said you've got one.
I just wanted to be, I was like, I didn't want to promise anything because,
Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. So Santa Claus might have some presents for you in the way of another headset.
We'll keep you updated, Malcolm. Cool. And then this is our other kind of added value area that we.
Sorry. Just before we move on to your pro services bit, another great question, and the answer to that is we have access to the larger form factor TP-Link switches. We've not added them to the product to the price list at the moment because there hasn't been demand. But what I would say to Malcolm and anybody else on the call, if you want some more information, please drop me a note with kind of what you're looking for. If you're buying another brand, for example, tell me the model number as well. Give me an idea kind of what sort of price point you're looking for as well, because TP-Link's an interesting one for us because they are really keen to work more directly with us and our partners. So there's an opportunity to do some good things there. So let me know. And absolutely, yes, even up to 48 port in the TP-Link range. Sorry.
That's all right. No, cool. Didn't see the other question coming. Perfect. So just finishing off on this section as our icing on the cake. Well, this is the extras section, by the way. I changed the name of it halfway through by calling it the icing on the cake. Professional services. So we've launched our own range of professional services delivered by our technical team in recognition of a number of things, really. One is that sometimes you as partners have more work than you can cope with, and your number of engineers or your diaries prevent you being able to get customers installed as quickly as you might like to, and therefore start benefiting from the revenue of those customers as well. So if you need kind of extra resource to rely on, then we're here to help with that. It might be that it's bigger, more complex, a slightly different solution to maybe you've had experience of, and you'd like us to support in that kind of scenario. It could be out of hours, or any number of kind of solutions. A really good one is project migrations, of course. So we've had a number of products that are evolving and changing over time. So things like iCall Suite having been overtaken really in features and functionality by iPETS Analytics, and looking at customers wanting to migrate their customer bases across to that. UCE to iPEX One migrations, and it could be going back to the third-party handset option, is that you might have a base of customers that are on another cloud product that you want to bring across to iPEX Cloud and want to do that wholesale. Then it's the kind of project we might be able to do with you there. So by all means, if you've got any project-based solutions that you could require some professional services for, again, first port of call your account manager or Llewellyn in technical, and he will work with you on the project and help price up what our support might be for all of that.
Cool.
So I think that just brings us to our completed jigsaw puzzle, which is amazing.
Yeah, I didn't give it away completely.
No, nearly.
But no, I think this is how we kind of see it. We're helping our partners to complete that jigsaw puzzle. Engaging with their customers, talking to them, understanding what it is they do, where their problems might lie, all that good stuff, but just helping our partners to understand that we've got everything that we could possibly have at the moment. Yeah, for sure, there's always going to be little bits and pieces missing from the portfolio. We're not perfect, but I think, I would certainly say in the time I've been working on this portfolio, it's by far and away the most complete and strongest it's ever been, in terms of enabling our partners to go after just a much wider range of opportunities, and also size of customer as well. Because I think whilst we've kind of been very careful to say that actually, if you look at Contact, one of our most complex solutions is really small. I think there is also a sort of a general rule you can apply, that when we do see the bigger opportunities, they are more often than not the more complex. But I think for us, it's a really complete portfolio that allows our partners to go and tackle a whole range of customer sizes, verticals, you know, all that good stuff, and have products that can really stand up and deliver the goods.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you've taken anything from today, it's hopefully turning the conversation on its head and trying to understand what your customer challenges are, really leading the conversation around where you think those business challenges might be, and helping them understand what we could do to fix them, not by just saying, oh, well, I can sell you Engage, but talk about, well, we've got this widget.
Widget? What's a widget?
I don't know.
Wow.
Website widget that we can install on your website that will help you to communicate with your customers in a really different way and answer the problem with the solution, not with the name of the product. So
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, as Andy said, amazing portfolio we've got at the moment, an amazing opportunity to go out there and say yes to more customers who are asking for, you know, things that are going to help them improve their businesses. So at this point, I would say, has anybody got any other questions?
We should start the Just Say Yes campaign.
We should definitely. I'm thinking.
Anybody old enough to remember Grand Chill?
Yeah.
Just say no.
Yes.
Where's the Grinch?
Oh, hang on a minute. Yeah, we were thinking, oh, there's the Grinch. There's you, look. There's me with the hat on the top, and there's you down the bottom.
So I think clearly this is probably another, giving it straight on, yes, another Malcolm question. This is part of the refinements I was talking about at the beginning. So the plan is that it will be a per website, per customer, per month price.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will follow up with a full proper launch come January, when we've got the date and we've got all of these like final details ironed out. We'll send out some mailers to all of you to let you know all of the collateral when it's available. If there's any help that you need in the meantime with any immediate customer opportunities, get in touch with your account managers or Andy.
Yeah.
You could also contact me.
Just to add to that, there's this bit about is it per, so yes, it's going to be per website, but with the obvious caveat outside of Engage, yes, you're going to still need the obvious
user license.
User licenses sitting underneath that. So we just as I say, we've got a couple of points to clarify just on the sort of licenses that underpin it.
Yeah.
And that's more about quantity than it is price, because the anonymous licenses are a free of charge API license on the platform, but we're just going to figure out exact numbers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Malcolm, sorry, actually, just on that, it's like the people that are answering the questions or the calls or the video calls from the website widget is they can just be an extension user and an IPEX One user. They don't have to have an agent license at all. So it's as simple as them just needing to have an extension on the cloud platform. The video that we've got recorded, we'll get topped and tailed and make that available. And there's a really nice explanation of how that programming, it'll show you the programming interface. So you'll get to see that you can just put in a 3-digit extension number or a hunt group number or whatever is needed on the cloud platform. So last call for questions, everyone. Anybody got anything else to ask us?
We could have been doing a song here, couldn't we?
Could.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
You start, I'll join in.
Nah. Nobody needs to hear that.
Cool. Well, it doesn't look like there are any other questions coming in right now. So I guess that just leaves us to say thank you very much for joining us. And if we don't speak to you before, have a fabulous Christmas. Have yourself a merry little Christmas, in fact. And we will hopefully see you all on the next webinar we do, which is probably going to be in the new year.
In 2024. See you in 2024.
On the other side.
See you on the flip side. Cheers, folks.
Thanks, everyone. Take care. Bye.